Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Leo. So we're going to take a look here at something different. This is a volatility indicator that I used to use to, gauge the volatility of certain markets for additional confluence whenever I was trading. So we're looking here at Bitcoin, but this is more pertaining. Reason I'm bringing it up is the AMC. Bitcoin is a very good example of how useful this tool can be. So essentially, what we have here is Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands measure the volatility of an asset. So as volatility decreases, what you'll notice is that you get a contraction within the Bollinger Bands. They squeeze together, and then you see a breakout as the Bollinger Bands begin to widen. So what we have here is the yellow is a 2 deviation Bollinger Band with a 50 period measurement. And then the blue is a same period, but it is a 3 deviation, and then the red is a 4th deviation. So the further out you break above them, the more what you're seeing is the more of a spike in volatility. Now, volatility doesn't stay; it always comes back. So, what we'd be looking for potentially to gauge the top of AMC would be that. So we've broken up here, right? So obviously the Bollinger Bands are expanding, right? So we're trending up, we're trending higher. We haven't really touched the red one yet, but as you can see here, we've touched the red Bollinger Band, pulled back a little bit, and we failed to get back to it. Now, as soon as we get a candle body close outside and we're very close to my target, so for example, let's say that I was targeting $20,000 here on Bitcoin, which would be just slightly above where we reached. We don't quite get there, and then we get a close outside with this candle. Well, I'd close my trade right there. So I would be closing out at 17,750. So that's pretty close to the market top for Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and take a look at AMC, see what's going on there. So why is this all okay? I was way out in the past. So as you can see here on AMC, we did get a squeeze, right? So the Bollinger Bands contract very much, and then they break out. And then we had the same thing happen here, and then they broke out again. And it looks like they're starting to contract. I think the 4-hour chart looked better here. Let me see. Yeah, so the 4-hour chart looks a lot better. So you can see how tight those Bollinger Bands got there just before the squeeze. It gets pinched in, and then it explodes out. So you can think of that as just pressure building, right? So now let's go ahead and zoom in. This is the January run up. So, probably be better to go on a smaller time frame, but you can still kind of see what I'm looking at here. So you get that big run up way past the red, right? So it comes back down. I probably wouldn't have closed my trade there at $9, but if we come back up, right, and get high enough, then potentially that'd be a good place to close. It probably looks better on the, let's go to the 1-hour chart, see what that looks like. The trick with this is just kind of finding the right time frame, seeing where it looks. Yeah, so this looks a lot better. So you notice you get your little pinch down here, right? So we get that little gap up, kind of trend sideways, and then we really rip, right? So maybe you're I don't know, just for argument's sake, let's say you were targeting $26, right? Comes up there, gets real close. We've gone well beyond the red deviation. We pull back, kind of come back up. So maybe you close your trade here, right? So it's pretty close to where you originally wanted to be. It's a possibility. And then you notice obviously what it does, it trends down again. So as we're trending into the future, you can see how the Bollinger Bands are beginning to pinch again, get tighter and tighter, and now they're expanding, right? So we're moving into a more volatile period. Where is it? So I believe, yeah, that was the run up you had in March. Then it trended back down. Let's try to get to June. So that's going to be the better example. So I think for June, let's see here. And see, this is something you have to be kind of careful for. So, well, actually, no, it's not quite touching the red there. So I take that back. Somebody might see that, well, okay, it's come up here, it's touched the red, but it's not quite through it. Here we get through it. So to me, that looks a lot stronger. So as we come up here, we get to that 77 some dollar price. It doesn't show it here on the chart, but in the after hours, it spiked up to 77.30. I don't know why TradingView is not showing that on the chart. It doesn't really make sense, but on TD Ameritrade, it does. Anyway, so then we get that pullback, right? And then we come back up. We get really close to the high, but we don't get up there into the red deviation, right? So that's showing weakness in the trend. So you might want to be closing around there at 70 bucks. Take some profit. Now, I'm not saying that I would have done that because I don't think people should try trading this stock. But what I'm showing you examples of what you could be doing if it gets close to your target. So if you're targeting, for example, $5,000 and it's getting, just assume this is 5,000 right up here. We don't quite get to it, right? So you're running up, right? Gets real close to your target. And now it pulls back and tries to go higher, but we're not within those deviations of the market. Well, okay, you might close a little bit early. Maybe you close at 4,500 instead of 5,000. That's what I'm trying to say about this tool, is that it's useful for determining when a potential, when the Bollinger Bands are getting really tight and saying, okay, you could squeeze at any moment. And it's showing you when it's just run too hot. And if it's getting really close to your target, it comes down and then back up. Okay, well, maybe that's, a good place to be taking profit. These are just examples. I'm not doing what Review Dork said. I'm not telling you to trade buy high, sell, or sell high, buy low, what he was saying. That's not what I'm saying. This is more of a tool to try to help you gauge where you should be taking, where I might consider taking profit. I'm not going to be taking profit solely based on this, but it's interesting to see if I do my other analysis that y'all are familiar with, and I come over to this tool and I look and say, oh, look at this. We've broken well past the red. My other analysis is telling me that we are very close to the top of this thing. And this tool is telling me we're very close. So, okay, I've bagged X amount of profit that I'm very, very happy with. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take some profit. Think of it that way, not trying to trade this. Anyway, so hopefully that gives y'all something to think about. If you want to play with this, they're just Bollinger Bands. I just colored them different. You have a 2 deviation with a 50 period, 3 deviation, and a 4th deviation. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.